Welcome to our tutorial on basic editing. In this lesson, we'll be covering some of the common ways to manipulate your audio and navigating around Cubase. If you forgot to name your tracks appropriately, you can do it now. This black strip here, let me just scroll my screen left. This is the event info line. You can rename the audio file itself by clicking on the name and then just typing in a new name. Press enter when you're done. This changes the audio file's name right on your hard drive. You can also enter a description if you like. I'll just enter the name of the sound bank I used for the strings. See how the description appears right here on the track for easy viewing? Currently, my recording is displayed in bars and beats in the primary ruler. That means the 0 cursor position is at bar 1, beat 1, subdivision 1 of beat 1. If I move my cursor here, I'm at bar 3. I can enter a value in the main display and press enter to move the cursor there if I want to get there quickly. This takes me to bar 15. You can change the ruler's display of formats. Right now I'm in bars and beats, but I can also use seconds or other types of formats. Just right-click on the ruler and select your option from the drop-down menu. Now I can navigate to a place in time. I can also enter my value right into the secondary time display. It's showing my values in hours, minutes, and seconds. Let's go to second 10 and press enter. Or I can also scroll with the wheel up or down. To get to the end of the project quickly, press the Go to End button. Let's go back to bars and beats display. If you want to quickly change the zoom of your track, simply position your mouse on the lower half of the ruler and then drag down to zoom in and drag up to zoom out. This might take a little practice until you get the hang of it. You hold the mouse down to do this. If you'd like to adjust your track height, simply select the track you want to change, then position the mouse over the lower or upper edge. You can drag it up and down when the double-sided arrow appears. You can change more than one track at a time with a Control Select if they're non-sequential, or Shift Select any tracks if they're right in a row. This gives you a way to easily adjust all of your tracks to the same size if you want. You can just select all 3 of them and then drag, and they will automatically resize to the same size. While you're playing back, if you want Cubase to scroll through your work in real time, make sure the Auto Scroll button is active or blue. This makes sure that your display updates as your cursor rolls off the screen. If you want to make edits in one place while listening to another portion of the recording, just toggle Auto Scroll off. These icons here are the main editing tools. This arrow is the Object Selection tool. You use this to select an event. You can use the Object Selection tool to select an event and, for example, to delete it by pressing Delete on your keyboard. Let's Control or Command Z to undo that, or I can also undo from the Edit menu. We can use the Object Selection tool to resize events also. Just select the event, position the mouse over the square in the bottom right corner of the event. When a double-sided arrow appears, you can resize the event. We can shorten it or lengthen it again. But remember, we can't extend it past the original audio recording. These edits don't delete that portion of the take from your hard drive. You can always come back and make some changes or add it again later. If you position the object selector over the triangles at the top corners of the event, you can create fade-ins and fade-outs. Just hold down the left mouse button and drag in. We'll be learning about how to create custom fades later in this course. For now, I'll just let you know that if you double-click on the faded portion, the Fade In or Out dialog window opens, and you can adjust the fade parameters. Let's cancel out of this for now, and we'll undo that fade. You can use the Object Selection tool to move events too. Just click and drag to where you want to position the event. Let's Control or Command Z to undo that. Or again, we can access that command from the Edit menu. We can also drag to a new track. Cubase will automatically create a track of the appropriate configuration type for you. Remember that you should rename your track with a name that's easy to identify. Let's undo that. If you want to copy an event, simply select it with the Object selector, then select Copy from the Edit menu. Position the cursor where you want the copy to go, and be sure that you've selected the right track. Now choose Paste from the Edit menu. A copy of the track appears. If you paste it to the wrong track by mistake, you can just drag the event to the correct destination. And you can copy and paste more than one event at a time this way. Just simply hold down the Shift key while you select both events. Select Edit, Copy, position our cursor, and paste. Let's undo that. The shortcut for copying is to drag while holding down the Alt key on your PC or the Option key on your Mac. Select the event. Press down the Alt or Option key. The scissors icon appears, but don't worry about that. Just hold down the Alt or Option keys and drag the event to the position where you want the copy to go. Then release your mouse button and then the Alt key. To drop your event in the same position on the timeline but on another track, select the event. Then hold down Control-Alt on your PC, that's a Command option on your Mac. You're able to drag up or down, but not to the left or right. Let's undo that. Let's delete our duplicate musette, and then move on to the next tool, the Range Selector. As the name indicates, it highlights a portion of your track. Simply left-click and drag. Release the mouse button when you're done selecting your range. You can use this, for example, to delete a section of an event. Let's undo that. Or you can check on its properties as well, etc. Let's click outside the range to deselect it. The scissors icon is the splitter tool. This is how you cut events. If the snap feature is toggled off, you're able to cut wherever you want. Let's Control Z to undo all these splits. Here's the snap on-off button. When it's active, it's blue. If snap is toggled on, then you'll only be able to make your cuts where you've set the reference points. In my case, I'm only able to cut right now at the beat. Even if I try to cut in the middle of the beats, I'm not able to. Of course, this tool is handy if you're creating a loop and need to cut an event in a precise place, for example, chopping it up into bars and beats. Let's undo all of these splits with multiple Control Zs. For more information on changing the snap reference, please check out our tutorial on snapping and quantizing later in this course. By the way, if you don't see some of the tools I've been talking about, just right-click or control-click on any tool on the toolbar. From here, you select the menus that you want to display. Any tool with a check mark will be showing on your toolbar. Default settings will take you back to Cubase's default settings for this display. It's possible that your screen resolution doesn't let you see all the tools, so keep that in mind and configure which tools are visible and hidden using the Setup option if you need to. This opens the Toolbar Setup window. Click the left and right arrows to toggle items from the visible to the hidden column and vice versa. And click OK when you're done. Don't forget that you can scroll through your project using the horizontal scroll bar. This takes you down your timeline. Use the vertical scroll bar to scroll through your track list if your track list happens to be particularly long or the display is set quite wide. Okay, let's return to 0. If you select an event, split it in one place. Then hold down the Alt or Option keys and split it a bar later. Cubase will automatically repeat that length of split to the end of your event. This is a pretty convenient way to break up an event into its component bars or beats. Okay, let's undo that split. Now let's talk about the next tool in the tool panel. That's the glue tool. It looks like a little glue gun. The glue tool lets you join events that you cut previously with the split tool. Just click on the two events you want to join just before the split. This tool works like zoom tools in other programs with zoom functions. You click on the event to zoom in, and Control or Command click on the event to zoom out. This X here lets you mute an event. Just click the event you want to mute and click it again to unmute it. And this concludes our tutorial on basic editing. While we will be reviewing many of these tools in greater detail later in this course, this is definitely enough to get you going.